Welcome to the Better Sundays podcast. Focused, practical, and usable advice for church leaders looking to reach new young families and impact their community. Greetings. Hey, this is Mike Holmes here. Welcome to the Better Sundays podcast, a very special episode because we are celebrating 1 year of consistently talking to you every single week about how to have better Sundays. So thank you so much for being with us. If this is your first time here, my name is Mike Holmes. I'm the founding pastor here at the Sinclair Baptist Church, and I am here speaking to you every single week. It's a Sunday afternoon, and just want to take some time and talk to you about some important things. We're talking about, this is for those of you that crave self-improvement. You want to keep getting better. You're not satisfied with where you're at. That's what the Better Sundays podcast is all about, and that's especially what this episode is all about. If you're joining us here on the podcast, we appreciate you subscribing on your podcast software, however that is. Lately, we've been doing these dual. We have these on YouTube as well, and so you can find us on our YouTube channel. If you're at the podcast, you can go over to Reachkeep, or if you're on the Reachkeep YouTube channel, you can go over to the Better Sunday podcast on any one of your podcatchers, and you'll be able to find us. So for those of you on YouTube, if I say something nice, hit the thumbs up button. I appreciate that very much. And go ahead and take a moment to subscribe so you'll get this every time we post. We're on YouTube weekly as well, doing a whole series on Sunday school teachers. In fact, if you happen to be a Sunday school teacher, or you are a teacher on a regular basis, whatever it is of Sunday school, we've been going through the 7 laws of teaching, some very, very important things, and want to make sure that you get over and get a chance to look at those on the Reachkeep podcast. So take a look at, or the Reachkeep YouTube channel. So take a look at that. So as I mentioned, 1 year. We started in August of last year, and so I wanted to take these next couple episodes to kind of summarize and talk a little bit about how and why we have this podcast set up the way it is. If you are a self-improvement nut, okay, and you love to listen to things and grow and always got the earbuds in and you're always listening, you're always watching something, always looking for something, then we're going to talk, that we're here for you. We're going to talk about what we've done over this last year so you can move from kind of dabbling in the ministry to dominating in the ministry and really taking off with some things. We have 3 distinct seasons that we taught during this last year. And the idea of the podcast, and for those of you on YouTube, you understand this. You can go back and look things up and archive things. Podcasts, it's a little trickier. Social media, it's almost impossible. It's like a feed, and to go back and find what you said a year ago is really difficult. But what we have, and for those of you that can watch this here, I've got them all printed up right here. Every single podcast that we did is on purpose with specific things so that you can go back and find those and listen to those and watch episodes if they happen to correspond on YouTube and be able to grab hold of, learn that particular thing. So what I want to do is go through just kind of quick review, let you know some of the things that we did, because if you've just now joined us, and we've had a lot of subscribers of just recently, we were kind of like I think the number one Better Sunday podcast type people out there. There's a lot of other things for pastors and some other improvement things and some good podcasts. But if you're wanting to make your Sundays have some zing to them, if you're wanting people to walk out the door and go, "Wow, that was amazing, we're coming back," if you're wanting to create what we call that amazing local church experience for the people that come of your community and impact them for Christ. And I'm not talking about doing it for the hoopla and for the money and growing big and all that. I'm talking about doing it because this is your passion, because you are called to do this, because you laid awake for days and days and days trying to figure out how to plant a church and what God would have you do, and then you pulled the trigger and you said, "I'm going to go start a local church, or I'm going to take a pastorate and I'm going to go and I'm going to get something done." If you're that kind of person, in other words, if there is a craving inside of you, okay, and you're like, "Man," and that's how it is with me. I'm like, every day I want to learn. I listen to stuff till late at night. I get up early and listen and grow and read books and all sorts of stuff. If you're like that, then we're friends, okay? We're on the same page here. So let me give you some things, and you can go back on a podcast. When you sign up on a podcast, you hit that subscribe button. It allows you to go back and to get all the past episodes. And we started out this year, last August, with our very first season, we call it, and it was about 15, actually I think it was a little bit longer than that one. We had quite a few podcasts on there. We started out with the idea of what were the essentials to reaching young families. And if you're a new church or you're revitalizing a church and you're wanting to get things going, what were some of the essentials? And I've got all the titles right here, and you can go back and look at them. The very first kind of concept we talk about for about 10 or 11 weeks was this idea of atmosphere, and that you need to create an awesome atmosphere, and it is your duty to do that. Now, again, not the pushback here. Think about this. You don't want a lousy atmosphere. You don't want people walking and go, man, this building smells, or man, everyone's angry at each other, or like, does anyone even care about cleaning this building? No, you don't want that. What we're talking about is that kind of atmosphere where the building is clean and it is sharp and the music is good and it is sharp and the people are ready for guests and they're excited. And so we did a whole series of being excited for guests and coming early and being ready. We actually talked about fixing your church's aroma. Okay, that idea. In fact, that was one. More people listen to that one than about any other podcast. Is the idea of your church does put off a smell. I'm not talking about the physical smell, but there's an aroma when you're in a church. It's like, man, these people are hungry for the Lord. Or at this church, one lady says, this church smells like growth. You know, that was cool. Okay, when the lady said that, and that kind of stuff. So our very first season had 3 elements to it, and the first one was the idea of atmosphere. And if you want to learn how to do some of those things, just go back and you'll find some of those things in August and September, right through that area. Then we jumped into probably one of my favorite topics, and we spent about a dozen weeks talking about what we call another essential: family solutions. Every Sunday, solve a problem. Every Sunday, solve a problem. Where your church is providing family solutions on a regular basis. And when people come in, they walk out with an answer. Okay, not just smarter, but they walk out with an answer, and that is so important. And there was a lot of different ones we talked about. Things for parents, how to parent their children, security, church security. In fact, I got my badge on here. Church security, lanyards, all the different things that we do for that type of stuff. Ways help your church, how churches can help parents parent. Okay, how they can be involved and really do some of that. So that was the church solution one. Then we jumped into what we call an old-fashioned word called high touch. It's the idea of we have so much high tech, we have so much stuff that we do, and everything can get going real fast. But how can we build relationships with people? How can we focus on building that relationship and touching lives? And we talked about how to calendar that in, just all sorts of different things. We had about 8 episodes on how to develop the relationships with people and with children and with the families that are there, and how that would benefit you. So that was all the essentials, and you want to make sure that you grab some of those and listen to some of those. Then we went through something that was extremely helpful for our church that we developed over the several years. We're a church plant, and we put together some of these statements that kind of keep us on track. There's kind of the idea of like a motto. If you're in the Boy Scouts, you had a motto, and businesses have little taglines, those kind of things. We went through a bunch of what we called strategy statements. And almost every Sunday for about 20 weeks, we dealt with a singular statement that you can print and put on the wall. I mean, it's like one sentence, and you can put it on the wall, and you can teach your people that, and it will help keep them laser focused on what they need to be focused on. A bunch of really, really good ones. And you need to go back and just look at some of those. I won't go through and do all of them. They had to do with teamwork, they had to do with serving, they had to do with volunteers. We had had, one, love everybody, but move with the movers, the idea of what to do when you're discouraged because some people, kind of don't move forward and you want to kind of keep going. Leaders are solvers, not complainers. Just a lot of great ones. And then we got into, again, another one of my favorites, and actually, they're all my favorite. Everything here is my favorite because this is my passion. I love talking about this stuff. And this one, the last season that we just finished up, is the idea of in order to reach young families, sometimes we need to do young family things. In other words, we need to do things that are more prone towards a young family, what they would be looking forward to doing or whatever. I just talked to a church the other day about their vacation Bible school. And at the end of the vacation Bible school, they had an ice cream social, they called it. And it was like, I wanted to drive halfway across the state to be there because the way they had it set up sounded so good. It just sounded like a wonderful thing for a family to be able to take their kids out in the evening for some ice cream, do something really special, and have it all tied to a wholesome activity, a church, and kind of a closing program for their vacation Bible school. It was like a perfect young family thing. And I think what we need to do is break out of our box a little bit, and sometimes we're so consumed in the box, so we don't have time to think out of the box, but we need to get thinking outside the box, and we need to do some young family things. And I went through, and I'm trying to see how many there are. There's at least a dozen or so ideas here of things that you can do to help you do young family things, okay? Another one here, this one kind of like the aroma one we did before, was how to make your church smell like young families. That was one of the most downloaded podcasts we've ever had. Another one, stuff to buy on Amazon that will help you reach young families. And we just went through a real simple list of some things that you can buy for very inexpensive on Amazon and order those things in and how to use those things to reach young families. Excuse me. So all of that was the young family stuff. We talked about the last few weeks, just the idea of service times and how you can get people so busy that they don't want to come to church or they can't because their kids are kind of worn out. And if you run your services too late and, things along that line, a lot of adjustments. No adjustment to your doctrine, no adjustment to your music. We're not talking about anything like that. We're talking about just practical things that you can use that will help you to reach young families. And that, in fact, that takes me into something that we've got coming up here in just a little bit. I'll tell you about, we are doing a webinar, a online training, a 1-hour online training session. I want to invite you to go to it and sign up for it. It's coming up. We're doing one on the 12th of August. We're doing one on the 14th. It's kind of our anniversary month here. We want to kind of do some special training. Excuse me. And we're going to do that training. And one of the things we're going to focus on is how to kind of get your digital house in order. Because young families, they don't look you up in the yellow pages, okay? I just wanted to let you know that. That's not how you find things anymore if you're a young family. You do it on your phone. It's all digital. And we want to talk about how your church can stand out in your community. The title of it is how your local church, well, I actually got it on the background here. 5 ways for your local church to stand out in your community. That you, as your local church, can stand out, some digital things that you can do. And some of them are very simple type of things. And again, there's no compromise. There's no change in doctrine or any of that kind of stuff. It's just some practical things, like having photos here of children is kind of one of those things we're going to talk about. How to upgrade your website. We're going to talk about how to get yourself listed in the right place on Google. So when people go, is there a church in my community? Bing, your church pops up. Okay, we're going to talk about how to do all that and train you on that, and we would love to have you sign up for it. You do have to sign up for it. I will let you know that the replay thing, we have some brand new software that's running the whole thing, so it's kind of new for us, but the replay thing is going to be a real boost because in the past we've had struggles with once a webinar was over, the training was over, you couldn't necessarily watch it again. Now we've got that, we think, worked out really good. So if you sign sign up and you can't be with us on the 12th or the 14th because you're at work or out of town, then you can watch a replay as long as you got signed up for it. The 12th is a Thursday. The other one is on a Saturday. We tried to get one on each day. It's going to be the exact same training on both of those. I'll just be live doing it here. You can ask questions. You can do chat. You can do all that kind of stuff. But we would love to have you to do that. You can go to reachkeep.com and our website, and right at the top there's a button. It talks about the webinar right there. It's just Reachkeep, the word reach and then keep, and then .com, and you go to that and you'll be able to log on and be able to find the information on that. We're also emailing it out. We got it plastered on Facebook and all that. And then coming up after that, in the first 2 days of September, actually 2nd and 3rd of September, is our big conference where we are planning on really helping your church to step forward, really step into the fall with reaching new young families. And there's some comprehensive information on that at the website page as well. It'll direct you to where you can learn more about that. You can't sign up for that one quite yet. We'll get that. That all happens, I think, the end of next week. We'll have that ready and start. And that one you got to actually pay for because it's bigger and deeper and all that kind of stuff. Everything else we do is free. But occasionally we got to charge for some things because we got to pay the bills around here and all the hosting and some of that. And it helps us out. And I appreciate those of you that are that help, that do that. That kind of. In fact, I've learned that. I have paid hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for books and training. I've signed up for online courses that have cost me hundreds of dollars to do, and it has all been well worth it. Education is always an investment. It is something that is worth putting your time into. Think of your seminary degree or your college degree, whatever it happened to be. You put that money into it. It just helps you really grow. You grab hold of it, and it's it just really burrows in a lot deeper. So if you're the kind of person that wants to kind of move from the dabbling in your church to dominating, you're at the right place, and you have found a friend in Reachkeep.com, and you found a friend in Mike Holmes. And I am very excited to be able to offer these webinars and this training, and then we have our online training academy that we will let you know about, where we coach you and we get on the phone and talk with you and help you out. We have all sorts of folks that are involved in that, and that is a great thing. Our job is to create flourishing churches. Okay, I'm sent out of a church. My home church, our goal was to create flourishing believers, and we had these core values. We had everything that pointed towards creating flourishing believers. Our job here at Reachkeep is to help create flourishing churches, okay, which would be flourishing pastors, which would be flourishing Sunday school teachers, which would be flourishing youth directors and deacons and music people and all that. That's our job. And so we're here for you. That is kind of the bottom line. So if this is appealing to you, hit the like button, and please, the best thing you can do in the world is just share this with another church or another pastor, another minister, another Sunday school teacher that is needing some encouragement. As I travel the country, man, I find that there are so many churches that are very small, and boy, they need some encouragement. And if we can do that online, that's the best thing, because I can't travel and be in all these churches all the time. Get worn out, doing all that traveling. So God bless you. I appreciate you being with us here today. Again, this is sort of our anniversary. Next week, we're going to do some more review and kind of go through some different things that we want to kind of touch on and help you to grow, let you see our bigger strategy. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast, and make sure that you hit the like button and the thumbs up and subscribe on YouTube. So anyway, thanks for being with us today. This is Mike Holmes. I am serving the Lord with gladness. I hope that you are entering into his gates with thanksgiving, and we will see you next week at this very same time. God bless. Over and out.